and that way I can tweet out, Facebook out. Oh, yeah, it just sounds a little bit different. No, sounds good. So on your Roll20 character, did you enable 3D dice? All right, go ahead and enable that. Okay. Yeah, give it a test. Give it a whirl. All right, good. All right, I'm going to see if we're streaming on Twitch. It says we are. Yeah, if I look at restream. YouTube. On Twitch. It does. It's got it about to start, and I'm seeing live. Okay. I want to go to YouTube. Channel. It says we're live. Okay. Facebook. Yeah, it says live. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So, are you kind of okay with the opening lines and stuff that I kind of drafted up? We could obviously tweak it over time, but okay. Um, and then, so, sure we still got. Okay. So I figure on this one, we'll do an introduction, obviously, but I thought it might be good for us to talk a little bit about, um, our kind of a little bit of history, just a quick little bit, and then probably talk a bit about your um, characters, just provide a little bit of background and stuff to them. So, if that makes sense. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Excited. Cool. I said cool. Cool. All right. He does. I did see something. So I've on. I do have a chat up on the stream as well. So, and then obviously I've got the Roll20 up. So, but yeah, okay. Yeah, let's. Nice. Is A going to play Warzone with us after? Yeah, there's no one should be seeing anything right now. I don't think. Okay, because I'm going to switch to Talking Heads, which I think is really what it's going to come into. So, all right. So we're just welcome. We're just going to make sure this is our first time doing that. We actually have something working and it's going live, and we've got audio. Doug, can you talk?
I can talk.
You can.
I'm capable of this.
Impressive. Of course, you always were able to talk when you were my little brother annoying me.
Not annoying. I'm. Yeah, okay, I'm annoying.
We've got audio, Doug. All right. You can. All right. I'm hearing good stuff on our live stream. So I think we've got audio up. I think all our test runs and worked out. So, all right. Awesome. Well, with that, hello, I'm Patrick Kanouse, and this is my brother,
Doug Kanouse.
And we're Two Brothers Gaming. So, hey, we've been playing RPG since the 80s when I subjected my brother to Star Frontiers and Traveler, and he was the only one I could force to play with me. Turns out he liked it.
I did. Played a lot of different things.
Yes, we did.
When we first started out, we had Star Frontiers, Indiana Jones, Twilight
Marvel.
2000, later on, Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah, there's quite a few things you subjected me to.
Yep. So we've decided to play again like we did back then. One game master, and one player playing more than one PC as needed. So we play Traveler, Cyberpunk, D&D, Twilight 2000, The Witcher, Delta Green, Pathfinder, and many others because, well, we just can't get enough gaming. So, and we'll be streaming our campaigns and hope you enjoy the ride. We may occasionally have the guest player as well. So I don't know if Doug can handle that, but we'll find out. And hopefully, if you like what you see here, if you like what you see here, follow us. Let us know in the comments. Appreciate it. So, tonight we're going to be playing Delta Green. So this was a game that did not exist when we first started playing. Call of Cthulhu did, but not Delta Green. And this is actually our first time playing it ever, but we really like the rule system and the modern cosmic horror setting. So we wanted to give it a start. Thought it would be a great way to kick off our streaming lives. So first off, I want to play our little bit of the intro for the setting. So before Doug introduces his characters, and obviously I'll be the handler. One note, this is Delta Green, is a game of cosmic horror. So some people may have trouble with some of the material. And it does include graphic violence, mental anguish, and some other horrific things. So just be aware of that as we kind of move through the game. So let's take a look at the opening intro, though. still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get the video audio working better next time on that one. So, apologies. This is our first time
Work in
out.
progress.
Work in progress. Um, so, um, yeah, perfect. So, this is a home brew scenario that I created. So, um, hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you will too, Doug. So, um, why don't you tell us about your characters?
Okay, so I've got two Delta Green agents. Um, not in any particular order, but I'll go with the first one. His actual name is Roland Etch. He
All right.
goes by the code name Agent Marlin. He is, or was, I should say, an employee of the FBI as a special agent, and then he became a Delta Green agent, hence the name Agent Marlin. They don't like to use their first or their actual names; it's just a code name, and they use first names only, if I recall that correctly. At least I think that's the case.
Yeah, they have a
Um,
code name handle. Yep.
he's pretty much my age, early 40s. I think I marked him as 41. No, for no particular reason.
Okay.
Um, kind of grew up in the DC area. Went to college at Georgetown, where he majored in political science, and then from there he went directly into the bureau
Okay.
and worked his way into um, actual becoming an agent in the FBI. Um, there's a couple people he considers really important relationships he has in his life. There's three main ones he has.
Mm-hmm.
He is a loyal Catholic, and so his parish priest is one of his closest confidants, obviously. And another one is a former partner of his at the FBI. He still talks to the gentleman, but the gentleman is no longer with the bureau. But they became fast friends um, while while working there together.
Okay.
Um, he's got a. I should have mentioned this, but when he was at Georgetown, he got a scholarship to play tennis there. Um, he probably was considered a semi-pro at the time. He was good enough, but he decided to go the agency way anyway. But he still enjoys kicking people's butt and that. So, am I missing anything?
No. As much as you want to share.
Sure, I have some other things here. In terms of his gear that he carries around, it's the standard special agent stuff: uh, flex cuffs, Kevlar vest, pistol, things like that. He's not carrying rocket launchers or anything like that yet. Um, he's kind of particularly skilled, being in the FBI with computer science and kind of working the deal with the bureaucracy that is the government. Um, so he's used to dealing with some of the red tape, and being an agent, he kind of has a panache. I think that's the right word. If not, you'll correct me.
Good enough.
For detecting human like intelligence, whether somebody's telling the truth, kind of things you would see with any sort of criminologist. And he's also able to persuade people. So he is kind of a smooth talker in that aspect. So there's some other skills there that he's pretty good at, but for the most part, think of him as just your common, normal special agent. Okay,
Sounds
so
great.
there's one.
Yep.
So I may refer to him in game as Roland, or I'll try to do Agent Marlin, but no promises just because I like the name Roland. Our second character, another Delta Green agent, is Clara Triton, uh, also known as Agent Rose. She's a historian. She got her doctorate in history from Colorado State University. She grew up in Pennsylvania, and she kind of wanted a more mountainous view. Um, she didn't really particularly like Pittsburgh. There's not good or bad to it. She just wanted to get away. She's in her late 30s, um, and she does suffer from paranoia. So that will be interesting when we deal with some crazy stuff in this Delta Green world. Some non-natural stuff would be interesting to see how she deals with that. Um, she's a huge runner. She runs all the time. She has a dog, and she's addicted to mystery fiction. Um, I skipped over the relationships. She is married. She has a best friend, a mentor, which I have not identified yet, and her history, um, occupation, really is more archaeology based. So, everybody knows Indiana Jones. I guess that's why I made her an archaeologist. But she's obviously worked in the field a lot with other archaeologists, so that there's some additional relationships there. Nothing uncommon there. She's obviously very strong in archaeology and anthropology, things like that. Being a runner, she does have some athletic ability, and being in Colorado, I gave her some survival skills. So she probably runs a bit into some of the natural habitat around there, and so she's kind of developed some skills in survival should the world end.
All right.
She is heavily armed with pepper spray, and she has a lot of computer equipment, cell phone, tablets, things like that. So, oddly enough, though, I gave her 0 in the computer science skill. So that'll be interesting. So maybe she just does a lot of typing on it. Oh, she has a stun gun too. I forgot I added that. Yeah. All right. And no other details other than that at this time. But as we go through this, I will be adding details and backgrounds to make you wonder where these characters really did come from. But that's enough to keep you guessing for now.
Yeah. If they live long enough or keep their sanity long enough to.
I'm going to have to find
warrant
Agent
background.
Rose 2, perhaps. I don't know.
All right.
The Rise of Rose.
Yeah. So, since Doug has never played Delta Green before, and I haven't either, but he's also never played Call of Cthulhu. He's not as aware of the Cthulhu mythos, so this is actually kind of a fun thing because he is probably slightly more in the dark than his agents are.
Probably so.
So that will be interesting. We are going to use sanity for. He will not know how many points of sanity he loses. We're going to keep that secret from him. So,
do you want to talk a little bit about what is Delta Green? Or are we getting to that and I just interrupted you?
No, that's fine. Yeah. So, Delta Green is a modern setting of essentially the Cthulhu mythos. So it's cosmic horror. Delta Green is the conspiracy. So in Delta Green, you are a part of the conspiracy for containing, covering up, hiding, and otherwise protecting humanity from the unnatural and occult horrors that exist. So I don't want to talk too much about how my particular Delta Green is set up because there are a couple of kind of ways that a handler can approach it in running the game, and I kind of want to leave that as a surprise and a mystery for Doug. So, so for those of you who understand that, you will understand it, and otherwise it'll be as a mystery there as well. How's that as a bit
Perfect.
of a
Yep.
Okay.
I think you nailed it.
Okay. So yeah, so both. We won't start off with too much of a home scene, which kind of happens between missions, but we're going to start out a little bit with that. Just a short one, just to kind of get the ball rolling. So this is taking place in on May 19th, 2019. I'm sorry, this is taking place in July of 2019, and both of your agents one day on the same day open up their mailbox and find in the mail a really kind of simple, small manila envelope, the kind of 7 by 9 size. And they open it. It's not address. There's no address or anything like that. It's just in there. And they both open it, and they see a news article printed from a web page. And I'm going to pop that up there on the screen for you. So this is a article, and they kind of notice it. Most people wouldn't notice this, but they do because, well, they're Delta Green agents. There's actually a little Delta Green symbol on the tree photo with the third tragic accident strikes community article. And each of them also has a ticket in their in the manila envelope to the Indianapolis International Airport. It is leaving.
That's a fine airport.
Yeah, it is. It is leaving tonight for them. So, yeah. So, what do you do with the information that you have? Oh, and I should also state that in the envelope are a series of American currency. So a couple of $5 bills, 5 ones, and a couple of 10s. And you have worked out a methodology with your handler, who is Agent Hardy, that on the dollar bill, a particular dollar bill that will be provided, will have a little black dot in the upper right corner. And only one of the bills will have that. And depending on the currency that has that mark, that indicates which hotel you will meet your handler at. So if it's the $1 bill, you're going to meet at the nearest Comfort Inn to the airport. If it's a $5 bill, you're going to meet at the nearest Red Roof Inn to the airport. If it's a $10 bill, you're going to meet at the nearest Days Inn to the airport. And if it's a $50 bill, you're going to have it's going to be the nearest Hilton to the airport. And you will always meet in room 101. So that's kind of what you've worked out with your handler, Agent Hardy is how you know him.
I hate to be terrible about this, but I was writing all my notes on the Surface Pro I got.
Yeah.
And it died.
Oh.
So I have it plugged in too.
Oh.
So I don't know what happened. Can you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you give me the hotels again?
Well, for this purpose, you only need to know one of them. A dollar bill is marked. Go to the nearest Comfort Inn at the airport. Room 101 is where Agent Hardy will be.
Gotcha. Okay. But you had other ones, right?
Yes, there are other ones too. So, but we can worry about that later.
Okay. Very good. So we will. I assume we're coming from Washington.
You're coming from wherever you're home at.
Where we're at right now.
Yeah, you're home. Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm assuming Agent Rose got hers as well.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yep.
I wonder if we worked together before or not.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Well, we are going to catch our flight to Indianapolis.
Yeah. So just so you know, it's up to you whether they know each other's real names or not, or if they always operate with their agent handle. So
I
that's the
think for now they just know the handles.
that's the preferred practice of Delta Green. So that way you don't know
Right.
the real names, you can't expose them.
Right.
Okay. So you head to the airport.
We both head from our locations to fly to the airport.
Okay.
Fly to Indianapolis, I should say.
Okay. What do you tell your family or whatnot that's there?
This is not uncommon. I travel a lot anyway. I use the FBI as my cover, and it's no different for Agent Rose either. Obviously, she's always going for archaeology conventions or sites and all kinds of stuff. So those both of them being away from home is not uncommon or really ever. I mean, it's just kind of accepted in those households.
Okay. All right. Um, yeah. So you fly safely there. You're able to um, you know uh, get there, and I presume you're going to just go to the Days Inn or the Comfort Inn.
Comfort Inn.
Okay.
A lot of magic happens there.
Yeah. All right. So
Look at that. There it is. It's that exact one.
this is
No two Comfort Inns look alike.
so. Um, there is the Comfort Inn. I'm going to.
I don't know if I want to leave there. That's so nice.
Uh, so yeah, Comfort Inn. So they're not both going to arrive at the same time. So why don't we say Rose arrives first?
Okay. Well, she's going to go ahead and head on up to room 101.
Okay.
Knock on the door.
Yeah. All right. So you do briefly, just a little bit of time passes, and the door opens, and you see somebody you've met, you're very familiar with. So this is Agent Hardy. We don't need to see him twice, though. So, and he's kind of graying in the hair. That he's obviously been with Delta Green for a while, but he's always been very professional and businesslike. So you actually know very little about him, other than he's been your handler now for your supervising agent for 2 or 3 missions operations that you've been on.
Okay.
So he says, "Good that you're here, agent. Why don't you come on in?"
She says, "Hello, sir. Good to see you again," and steps on in.
All right. He ducks his head out, kind of looks both ways, closes the door, says, "Can I get you a drink?" And you see a bottle of bourbon that's sitting on the desk. It's Blade and Bow is the brand of whiskey that he has.
Oh, he's such a brilliant man. Hashtag Blade and Bow for all you whiskey drinkers out there.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's about 10 p.m. at night, so you guys got pretty late, fairly long flight, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have finger, please.
All right.
On the rocks.
He kind of looks at you and says, "All right." So he pops in a couple of rocks, pours in a healthy finger of whiskey.
Perfect.
Probably 2 fingers, more likely. And he hands it to Rose, and he pours himself healthy two fingers as well, and it's neat though. No rocks. And he sits down and he looks at his watch. It says, "I expect Roland to be here soon." Um, but
Oh,
he,
Roland's coming, huh?
yeah,
I've
as
worked with him before.
yes,
He's a good agent.
you both are good agents. So, but we'll cover the details of what's going on here when he gets here. That way, we don't have to cover it twice. Did you have a chance to take a look at the article?
I did. This is it's a strange one, is it not?
Yeah, let me actually
Um,
show you the full article. So, because there's more to what you're seeing there than that little bit of headline. Um, yeah, so you should see that. Let me expand it a little bit more so that you can read the full thing. It's not too long. So there you go.
well, let me just read it for our viewers, since some people
Yeah,
won't be able to see it.
go ahead.
New London shock continues with a tragic accident on July 3rd on County Road 500 yesterday afternoon. The blue Jeep Cherokee, driven by Devin Holt, was crushed by the large oak tree first planted by Jeremiah Hicks to memorialize his son killed in Vietnam. Holt was killed instantly, according to police. According to the report, Holt had pulled his vehicle to a stop and exited it. Why they do not know. The tree then collapsed and crushed Holt beneath its main trunk. No previous indication of weakness or rotting had been reported. Holt leaves behind a wife, Charlene, and two children, Graham and Samantha. This is the third freak accident in 6 weeks that have shocked the community. Hmm. That is strange.
All right.
It's interesting that he got out of his vehicle. It's interesting, and then it collapsed and crushed him. I'd be interested in seeing the condition of the tree in this location.
Okay. All right. So about 11 o'clock is when Roland arrives.
Okay.
You want him
He's
to knock and yeah.
Yeah, let's just assume he knocks and
All right.
is accepted at the door.
Yep. Offers him. So Agent Harding offers him a beverage as well.
Make it a big one.
Okay. So yeah, he pours a healthy dose.
He loves Blade and Bow.
Yeah. So passes it on and says, "All right." So you've both seen the article. This is actually the third incident in this town, which is very small. It's north of Indianapolis, and a friendly sheriff, Sally Cornish. She's the sheriff in the county. Kind of alerted us to this. She finds the circumstances really odd. We have a father, husband was shot and killed accidentally by his daughter during a barbecue. The daughter claims to have no knowledge. She's like a blank. Can't even remember picking up a gun, and the family doesn't even own a gun. And then another person, she was killed in her home. So I'll share those articles with you. You can read them afterwards. But basically, I've gotten you state police investigator covers because this obviously isn't a matter for the FBI. So it's state matter. Our friend Lee has brought you in to help with the investigation. So, and he hands some couple of IDs out, badges and that kind of stuff. So you're a detective, so you don't have to wear a uniform or anything like that. Um, Roland, he gives the cover is Frank Barton, and Rose, the cover is Jean Valmer.
Sorry,
Um,
what was her? What was hers?
Jean Valmer.
Jean.
Jean, yes.
Okay.
The woman's name Jean, Geanne. Um, so um,
Excuse me.
there's a couple of hundred each for hotel and some food. I need you to check in daily. He gives you both a burner phone. He says my number's in that to this burner phone that he holds up. Obviously, at the end of the op, trash those. Well and good. So your job is to evaluate the situation. Um, if there's something unnatural or something going on there, get rid of it, contain it, do what you need to do, and hopefully make sure that people don't find out about it. To them, this if it's something going on, this can be natural, just a weird coincidence, tragic accidents. But remember, contain it and silence it. All right.
Okay.
So this is not a high priority operation. We've had a couple of people, our analysts, express a little bit of skepticism that this is warrants our attention, but we decided to take a more cautionary stance and follow that and just see what's going on. So take a look at it. If nothing comes up, so be it. But check in with me every day. All right.
Fair enough.
Okay. I've got you both room here, so you can spend the night here and then drive on up tomorrow. It's about a couple hour drive from here. So, and he hands you,
Okay.
he hands Rose um, some car keys. So this is for the rental. It's out, outside. So it's a little Jeep. All right.
No, wait a minute. We're in Indy though, right?
You're in Indy, but New London is north of um,
I
Indianapolis.
I totally read that wrong. I just thought it was in London.
No, New
Like,
London.
why do I need? The car won't drive in the ocean. New London. That's a different story. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought
no,
we were traveling abroad.
no
Dang it.
worries. Nope.
Hello, 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 American. All right.
Uh, so I will go ahead and share with you the other two articles as well, so that you can see those. All right. So
Okay.
all right. There you go. You want to read those out as well?
I will. Let me start with tragedy from. I read the first one. The third tragic accident. Let's read tragedy from nowhere. The death of Henry Thompson should have, by all reports, never have happened. The Thompson family, Henry, his wife, Joyce, and daughter Melinda were all home enjoying a Saturday evening cookout on May 25th, 2019. Hot dog, burgers, and chips. Henry, as many know, was renowned for his barbecue skills. The family claims to never have purchased a gun, which this reporter has been able to validate through state records. That does not preclude non legal means or a loophole purchase of the pistol that fired the bullet that killed Henry. Joyce remains adamant that Henry, as opposed to guns, was opposed to guns and would never have purchased one. Melinda, who pulled the trigger, has claimed that she knows not where she found the gun. A Smith & Wesson .45 ACP, the shot that rang out over the quiet neighborhood. That tragic evening will linger long in our memories. Police continue to question Melinda and Joyce, and charges may be forthcoming. That's a sad one. And then the last one, town shocked by freak accident. The first indication something had occurred was the flickering power at Janice Clarence's house. Her power surged, turning off and on the lights and TV at approximately 10 p.m. on June 15th. As Janice checked her house and reset clocks, she noticed a constant flickering of lights from across the street at her neighbors, Anika Hart. Fearing something was wrong, Janice ran over to Anika's house and pounded on the door. Unfortunately, her assistance would have done no good. The police arrived for a check. They found Anika sitting in her lounge chair in the family room. A single burn mark on the ceiling and beneath her toe confirmed that Anika had been struck by lightning, though no signs of the strike appeared on the roof. Anika, a well-loved community member, will be mourned. Bum, bum, bum. That's some freaky stuff. All right.
So Hardy opens the door, says, and hands each of you your room key. And says, "Good luck," and closes the door behind you.
Wow, he is just a loving man. I think we will. I think we will go to our separate rooms. We agree to meet bright and early at 6 a.m. to get on the road to get up to New London.
All right. Cool. All right. So I'm going to flip to. I'm going to close those articles if you need them. Let me know. We can open them again.
Sure.
But I'm just going to switch to new.
Looks like you froze.
Yep. Okay.
Video froze.
No, I'm good, I think. All right.
Maybe there's some lag.
Yeah, a little bit probably. Okay.
There you go.
So this is yeah. So Doug, you haven't seen some of the stuff on that they do with Delta Green, but they kind of have this kind of like board kind of feature.
Oh,
so
okay.
a lot of this is going to be theater of the mind, so a little bit less tactical than like our D&D and some other games.
Okay.
So some of these things you'll see later. So, but that's in the center of that. That is the town of New London. So I pulled that from Google Maps. So
shout out to New London.
It is a real town. So
okay. What does the 1 and 2 indicate? Is that the location of the 2 stories?
Yes. So that's the location of. So number 1 is good eye. Number 1 is where Henry Thompson was killed, and then number 2 is where Anika's house is. So the location of Devin Holt's his vehicle is further out of town, is not visible on this map, but it's basically south west of that. So
Gotcha.
Country Road.
Okay, right. Well, I'd like to go check out the tree first. So I would like to Google Map
Okay.
that road. I'm gonna go out there first.
Okay. You don't have the exact location of that. The article doesn't provide the exact location of where that's at. The sheriff would have that.
sheriff.
The friendly. So
Is there?
in Delta Green, friendlies are people who've had some encounter with an unnatural or occult kind of thing and can be called upon to help, but they aren't Delta Green, and they don't usually even know they're working for Delta Green or helping Delta Green. That's a nod. They don't even know about that. So in fact, your characters probably started out as friendlies before they were brought into Delta Green.
That makes sense. Okay, but he has had some. But how does he know that we are here to investigate? I mean, did we drop a line that says Delta
No, no. So the sheriff. So she called. She basically called a contact that she was given, right, and said, "Hey, something's kind of weird going on here." So they would have told her that, "Hey, we're sending a couple of state police investigators, Frank Barton and Gene Valmer. They're coming to see you." So they would never have used Delta Green or anything like that, but they would have ensured that she knows that you're coming as a part of her sort of kind of reporting to somebody somewhere along the chain. And you don't know because Delta Green operates on compartmentalization. So,
Right.
It's a core operating principle.
See nothing, know nothing. Okay, well then I assume is the sheriff's office here in New London, or
Yes.
is it in a different? Okay, so yeah, we'll take the. What kind of rental car do we have? Can we have a Tahoe? I've never driven one. I'd like my characters to drive one. Or is it not as? Is it more like an Impala?
It's a small, it's a Jeep.
Oh, you said Jeep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you want to upgrade to a Tahoe, you can. That'll cost you some
No,
money.
Jeep's good.
Right.
Jeep's good. I've never ridden. Oh, have I ridden one?
Mine.
I've never driven one.
You've driven mine.
I drove yours?
Yeah, from Chicago. That's off. Yeah. Remember I had to fly out from Chicago when we went to the Cubs game. All right. Off topic.
Yeah. Okay, off topic. So we are in a Jeep. I want it to be a Wrangler, though. Not as comfy as yours.
No, it's not. It's not.
So, okay. Let's go to the sheriff's department.
Okay.
We both get out of the Jeep. We approach the front doors. Go in. I'm sure there's a deputy there or some sort of admin, somebody to direct us.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see, so there's this fella.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what?
Sorry. I heard you fine.
Yeah. Siri. So you see this gentleman at the front. He's kind of it's a very small little office. There's not a lot of desks or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, it's not a really
open concept, kind of.
Yeah, but not
backwoods.
that nice. Yeah. So, but on his badge, you see Logan Moreau. This kind of got a label, and he looks up. He says, "How can I help you?"
Deputy Moreau, we are from the state police. We were called here to investigate some strange occurrences, I guess, that have happened in town. We're just going to come in and check things out, and then hopefully be out of your way and figure out what happened if we can't at all.
No, Sheriff, did do that. Sheriff did call you.
Yeah, she did, and yeah, I know, right? It's just we got you know how it goes. If you get called, you gotta go, kind of thing. So
she's been yapping about how this just isn't right and it's weird, and I'm just saying it's a tragedy, man. It sucks, but that's what it is.
Yeah, bad crap happens.
All right.
So is she here? I'll talk.
Yeah. Hold on. He gets up and takes up a mug of his coffee, downs the rest of it, kind of sits it down, and goes, "Oh, baby." So
that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's not. So there's maybe some over there left. He kind of points to a coffee maker. Um, and yeah, he leads you back. There's in the towards the middle. There's some actually closed offices, and there's on the door hangs sheriff medallion and that kind of stuff. And he knocks with a couple of knuckles and just swings open the door. Doesn't even wait for acknowledgement. And says, "Sheriff, you got the state police here that you, I guess, asked for." And so this is the sheriff. She says, "Oh yes, thank you, Logan. Did you ask him if they want a coffee or anything?" He's like,
Oh, we're fine, thank you.
He's like, yeah. He shakes his head. He's like, "No, all right." So
It's fine.
he walks out, closes the door behind him, and the sheriff says, "Thank you for coming." And she extends her hand. She goes, "I'm Sally Corner. She can call me Sally."
I'm Agent Barton, and this is my fellow Agent Belmore.
Agent? I didn't know you.
I'm not sorry. How does state police go? It's not agent?
Investigator or detective.
Oh. That's what I meant to say.
All right. We'll say you said it.
Can I get a mulligan?
You get a mulligan.
Okay. Detective Barton. This is Detective Belmore from the Indiana State Police.
Hey.
Here, we got requested to come here to do a little investigation on some strange yet very tragic occurrences that have happened here around New London. I'm sure seems like Deputy Moreau was anticipating our arrival, so I assume you requested us.
Yeah, I definitely did, because this town's not used to that, right? This is just kind of crazy that we've had these kind of weird things, and it was really. Have you read the articles? Seen what happened with
Sure.
Henry?
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
Yeah,
All of them.
yeah. Well, there's probably
Things happen all the time, though.
Yeah.
I hope it's something just a simple freak accident, honestly, because But that's when we're called, we gotta come and check it out. So I'm sure you appreciate that. We'll stay out of your hair as much as possible. If you could share any of your investigation files with us, that would be helpful. Save us a lot of legwork, I think. I saw the article briefly on the tree falling on that poor gentleman. I didn't get an exact location, so I'm hoping you might be able to provide a more precise location so we can go out there.
Yeah. So I'll give you the files I've got. They can't leave here because they're technically the evidence of the sheriff. So, but you can certainly look at them and take some notes. Here my take was that Henry's death was tragic. Probably has some level of explanation, even if it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anika's, frankly, is the one that kind of spooked me a bit. I don't know how you get struck by lightning in your home. Without...
It was lightning. It could be a completely weird electrical current crap that goes on, in the houses all the time. Bad wiring, for all we know. I don't know. We won't know until we get out there. But
yeah, there just seemed to be no evidence of it. That was kind of weird. And then, Devin, maybe a tree could fall, but we took a look at that tree. We had some arborists look at that tree, and it just doesn't seem like it should have fallen. And it wasn't, as far as we know, windy. There was no storming that day. It just it was really kind of weird. So, what I saw a couple of years ago, just kind of kept me a little bit on my toes about what um, what could be happening from that standpoint. So I was just I thought I'd rather people know what was going on, and maybe take a look at it. So hopefully I'm wrong, but not a good situation. So
Sure. Sure. Quick timeout, Patrick. I just want to shout out to some of our Twitch viewers right now.
Yep.
I know Bevington. I've PC gained with him for several years. Good to see him.
Oh,
He's actually from Indianapolis. I believe he lives on the south side, if I'm wrong. Our
oh,
friends at High Shelf Gaming obviously seem to
Yep.
be on.
Yep.
I know Corey Noise was on earlier. I don't see him on there now, but I did see him earlier. And Lurks, I'm not sure who that is. Do you know who Lurks is?
No. So
LURXX. So whoever you are, if you want to tell me who you are, that's fine. If you're just stalking me, that's fine too. It's good to have you in Twitch with us. So thanks for all you guys viewing on our very first
yeah.
endeavor. So
Yeah. So awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry. Back to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she clearly was prepared for you. She actually pulls out a box and it got 3 boxes, puts them down, and says, "Hey, here's the evidence. The reports that we've got from the situation." So, and each box is got a label across it.
Right.
Devin Holt, and, Henry Thompson, and Mika Hart. So.
Sheriff, is there anywhere that in this area that we could set up at the hotel, or if you have any extra space here, so we can kind of lay these things out and take a look at them?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a conference room that you're welcome to jump to. So yeah.
Okay. We might be in there for a few days, so I apologize for any inconvenience. We'll try to be out of here as soon as we can, but I prefer to lay things out. You know how investigations go. I've got to see it all spread out and try to figure each one out and see if there's even a connection. That sometimes happens too. So, okay.
Oh. Interesting. Our Bevington and High Shelf aren't seeing video.
Oh.
Even though I'm seeing it. So.
Yeah, when I click on watch now, I get the video download was canceled. Please try again. I don't know if they're getting the same error or not. I know we are good on YouTube, but I'm not sure what's going on here.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with Twitch. This is the
right.
first time I've even used it.
All right. Maybe I did something wrong. So. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just try to see if I can.
Oh, you're fine.
What happened there? Okay. All right. Well, what we'll do is that's too bad.
We'll investigate that.
We'll investigate that, and we'll go to YouTube. I'll figure that out. So, all right. Weird.
Or if you just want the audio.
Sorry for the
Twitch.
video on Twitch. We'll get that fixed next time. And we do have over at YouTube. there as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll get that figured out next time. Apologies for the interruption there. All right, let's move forward. So yeah, so she shows you to a conference room and lets you take the box and stuff like that, and says, and if you need anything, drink, water, snacks, or whatever, Logan can help you out.
I hear Logan makes a mean cup of coffee. I think we're gonna need it.
He uses the Keurig, so yeah.
It's probably easier for simple minds.
Yeah, so the conference room it's pretty sparse. There's a cork board up behind you, has some information back there about some softball leagues coming up, some youth baseball, and that kind of thing going on. So, up there, and there's a table. It's a little bit, this place obviously doesn't have a lot of money to spend on its department. So, some plastic chairs and whatnot. So,
Okay, that's fine. We will we'll start with the Thompson case first, since it seems to be the first. I believe it's the first
yes.
tragedy.
Yep.
So we'll start working through some files there. I'd probably need to see if we can get through these files pretty quick. I don't know if we need or maybe a roll to see how long this is going to take, and to see if we find out anything looking through all these files. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, it's going to be pretty straightforward. What's your kind of criminology skill?
I would say forensics, maybe.
No, in this case, it's probably going to be criminology, I think.
Is there an actual criminology one?
Yep. There's also forensics.
Oh my gosh, I got a 70 in that. Yeah.
So, so I'm going to just double check since we're new to the skills here. Just want to make sure. I think when I was checking earlier, criminology makes sense too. So yeah, analyze criminal activity, examine witness statements, or know whom to talk to. Forensics is more about searching, reading, details about a weapon, fire, discern crucial clues, or somebody would search,
They kind of that's kind of like a secondary. Actually, that's probably more material.
Yeah, forensics is more
analysis.
about the actual evidence, the science of evaluating the content and what you're looking at. Criminology is more about understanding the law as well as sort of understanding.
Putting the pieces together.
Yeah, well, that's probably also like, I think, in, human intelligence and that kind of stuff. But it's more about, you're looking at a bunch of police reports, right? So understanding and knowing what those are going to be, looking through them and evaluating them is really sort of, I think, one of the key activities for you, because that tells you where to go to find it, understand what's being there, that kind of stuff. So
let's start.
Yeah. So if you give me a roll, and basically what you're shooting for is critical to speed up your
time
speed. So outside of that, it'll just kind of take you a normal amount of time to sift through.
For those that maybe can't see my character sheet, Delta Green's probably a little bit different than some of the other RPGs you've seen. The skills have a ranking between 0 and 100, and in this case, I have a skill in criminology of 70. And so to succeed, I have to actually roll under 70. And correct me anytime I'm incorrect, Patrick. But there are also, so if I roll under 70, then I have a success. but you can also have critical successes. Critical successes are identified by 1, 11, 22, 33. Is it all the way up to 66? Or is it?
Because
Because I
of your
know critical fails, right, so 33, 44, 55, 66 would all be critical successes.
correct.
Critical fails, or fails would be anything if I roll over 71 and up. Critical fails would,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Critical
Failure 71.
fails would be 77, 88, and 99, and 100,
Correct.
right? So that's kind of how the dice works in this game in terms of successes and fails. So it's been a little bit different for me as I read through the handbook, the agent's handbook. I thought that was pretty clever and different. Although we're playing so many games, I'm sure one of these times I'll be playing D&D and I'll be like, no, I rolled under. That's a hit. So I'm sure as we go more and more through different scenarios in Delta Green, you'll see all the mechanics, because there's obviously combat, opposing checks, and things like that we'll get into, I'm sure, later on. But for now, we will deal with criminology. One other thing I should note also is on dice rolls for skills. Say I were to fail this criminology check, there's a little checkbox next to the skill, and let's say I fail. If I check that box immediately, and I actually get a little bit of a additional modification after the game after that session is over. So I basically learned from my mistakes, so it actually helps increase some of those skills. So I think that's kind of a cool thing too. It's not just fail and success. You actually can learn. I might find a way to actually minimize some time. So therefore, I boost my criminology by 2 points or something like that. Am I right, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's it. It's a pretty straightforward system. So.
Yeah. So far, so good. Okay. And if I can even analyze that, that's how simple it is. So I'm going to roll criminology now.
Okay.
With the 3D animated dice on Roll20. Hashtag Roll20. Okay, here we go. I'm assuming I can just click on criminology. Let's see if I click and drag to roll the dice. Did it work? 57. Yeah. Success.
48. Success.
Oh. 57 must have been something I was playing around with.
That was the earlier test that you did.
Both successes.
Yeah.
All right, so 48, yeah.
But not a critical, so you kind
Not a critical.
You kind of get through Henry's at kind of the normal pace. So, and it's what you would expect. It's probably not, top of the line investigative procedure, but it's competent work. So there are photos, of the scene. There's a photo showing the Smith & Wesson on the ground. It's got the little yellow tags and whatnot, markers of that. It is, and then the bullet for the shell, sign for the shell casing. One bullet was fired, so one shot, and it hit Henry in the chest, sort of like kind of dead center. And the way that the witnesses described the event, he was there cooking, right? Kind of working the hot dogs and the hamburgers. It was a Memorial Day get together, and his wife kind of he heard her wife scream, or everyone heard the wife scream, and he turned around, and there was his daughter, who had a gun pointed at him, and just shot. He turned around and he didn't even have time to say anything. She shot, and then dropped the gun and then passed out. And the witness statements, have variances on that because, witnesses are notoriously um, wrong many times and have varying different stories. They pick out different details. But by and large, that's kind of the picture that you can kind of pull from this. No one seemed to have seen her with the gun approaching. No one saw her with the gun until that kind of scream from his wife. And his wife is Joyce. So, and he was declared dead at the scene. And there were about 10 other people at the party. So.
Oh wow! So it wasn't just the family.
No, it wasn't just the family. It was a little neighborhood gathering.
What have we found out about the gun, serial number, owner, things like that, ballistics?
Yeah, the gun, the serial number was filed off, and there's no the ballistics of it do not show up in any other report. So the gun's never been test fired and analyzed in a police laboratory in Indiana. So,
any other rounds in the gun?
yes, the magazine was fully loaded. So
they dusted those rounds for prints.
Yes, they did.
What did they find?
No prints. The only prints on the gun are Melinda's handle, trigger, safety. There's no prints on the bottom, no prints on the top.
So it was already locked and ready to go. Locked, loaded, and ready to go. Melinda ever fired a gun before?
Not according to her mother. And Melinda says she's never fired a gun.
Does she remember anything about... Does she know that she was pointing the gun at her father?
She says that she does not remember it. So her statement is she remembers the party starting, and she was playing with some of her friends who were there. So there were a couple of her girlfriends there, and she was just kind of playing. And then she says the next thing she knows, she was in the backyard. Next thing she knows is her mom is looking at her and shaking her awake. So the witness testimony indicates that after she shot the gun, dropped the pistol, she basically collapsed onto the ground, unconscious.
How old is she?
She is. Let me double check.
Aha! Tricked.
I just have to.
May not even matter.
She is 8 years old.
Oh my gosh. She's a child. Any word on if they are going to file charges? She's 8, for crying out loud.
That is currently, based off of what you're seeing, that's currently with the district attorney prosecutor. That's the sheriff has indicated that
it was an accident.
Yeah, she believes that Melinda should not be charged with the crime, but that is up to the prosecutor. The Joyce has secured legal representation, there's a lawyer from Indianapolis named Karma Hendricks who they've obtained the services of.
To serve in what capacity?
In
In case there are charges. Or
in case there are charges, she's been there. So after the initial incident, Linda was questioned, Joyce was questioned, the witnesses were questioned,
attorney present.
And so but they did not have Karma at that time. Upon subsequent questioning, Joyce secured legal representation to help, as she said, protect the rights of her daughter.
Right.
But that's So.
What did Henry do for a living?
Henry was a construction worker, so he worked for a housing construction
Residential builder.
Out of Kokomo, so which a little ways away, not too far away, but it's the nearest kind of bigger town that he worked at. So he commuted kind of every day.
Did Joyce work?
Yes, she's a nurse.
All right. Any strange occurrences prior with the family prior to the shooting?
Nothing that's indicated in the reports.
Okay. I will be following up with them, with Joyce and the daughter, at some point.
Okay.
See. Ask some additional questions for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Next file.
All right. So you want to do the next the Nika Hart?
I just got the town shocked by freak accident as it was a shocking death. Wow. Poor taste, newspaper. Poor taste. Did you realize that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you got it.
Shocking development. It takes me a minute. All right, so yeah, let me roll for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, 35.
All right. Success. So which you would have succeeded anyways, but you get no speed benefit to kind of getting through this. So it takes you a while. So again, the reports are competent. There's you've got really kind of two major sets of reports in this one. The statements about the location in the house where Anika was, and then the actual autopsy on Anika, which is where the coroner basically talked about the lightning strike. So there are photos. So the photo of Anika is pretty graphic. Nothing that the FBI agent hasn't seen.
Sure.
She actually kind of looks weirdly at peace, though. So outside of kind of the kind of like almost like charred kind of, you can kind of see like her hair is kind of kind of burnt fringe. Her fingernails are black, and there's a noticeable burn on her top of her head, kind of like at her forehead, right? And that's probably the most disturbing thing about the kind of thing is just like this black mark, and it looks like a burn. And then at her toe, which she's on a recliner, and so she was kind of like leaning back. Her feet were up. On her right toe, at the very tip of it, is another black mark. So,
right where it comes out.
Reasonable to deduce, the path
Electrical current
of the electrical current. There was a light, kind of a standing light next to her on the right side, along with a little end table where she had a book. She was reading Stephen King's The Dark Tower. That was right there, and it sits across from a TV. So there is no mark in the ceiling or on the walls to indicate an entry point for the current.
On the article, it does say there was a single burn mark on the ceiling.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's correct. Thank you for correcting that. So there is a single burn mark on the ceiling. That's correct.
Okay. Is it a one-story house?
It is a one-story house.
Does the time line up?
So,
with...
by the way, Anika's house. So Anika's is Anika. So you see the picture of the sheriff, Sally.
Yeah.
Anika is to the top right of her.
Oh, I think
with the earrings.
Picture's in the way, right? Oh, can you just ping it?
No,
if you did, I didn't see it.
No, it's because I'm not on Roll20. I have to go back to it.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah. Anika. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
That's Anika.
Okay.
That's Anika. This is Anika's house.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Janice. So she's the woman across the neighbor who first saw the flickering lights, as reported in the story.
Right.
And then this, by the way, is Henry. This is Henry Thompson's house.
Okay.
And that's Henry. So, which you should recognize from the thing. So,
sure. Okay.
But yeah.
Does the time of the power surge align with time of death for Anika? 10 o'clock.
Yes. So it does. So the report does indicate have a thing from the power company that indicates that there was a brief power surge in the area that affected kind of. If you look on the map where her house is, you see it's kind of got this big kind of square around it: Peru Street, County Road 2214 South, Church Street, and then County Road 2020 South. So her house is kind of in the middle. So you've got this kind of square. So all those houses were affected by the surge. There is no stated cause, though. They cannot determine what caused the surge.
All right. Well, I cannot think of any other question. I think this one's strange. Especially with no other crazy burns or. No, I assume none of the appliances are cooked or anything like that, right? It's just the woman.
The report actually doesn't say what about any of the other appliances or anything, so it makes no note. The light was on when they got there. There was some flickering, but there was actually no indication in the report itself that any of the other appliances were or were not affected.
just taking a few notes here. All right. I can't think of too many on that one. That was just strange to me. Of course, I'm also not an investigator in real life, so maybe I'm not thinking of the right questions.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's definitely strange. I mean, and the autopsy report indicates that, they concluded that it was a lightning strike. So that was the best that
Sure.
for whatever reason, it didn't leave a mark on the ceiling, on the roof. It only left a mark on the ceiling. And the, presumption being she didn't have her finger in a light socket, and there was nothing else there. It's, so how much voltage could kill somebody? Probably what you get from lightning.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from a light switch.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the third case.
Okay. So the third case is Devin Holt.
Do we roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Oh, close. Okay. Success, no critical.
Okay. So here there's, a picture of a tree. So they have the tree before, which looks pretty stout and sturdy. It's a big, tall tree. It's been there for a long time. Then they have a photo from the actual incident, and it kind of is you can kind of see what happened in terms of how he was killed in the accident. So he pulled his truck off to the side of the road. So there's not really much of a shoulder. It's kind of country road.
Right.
Where we grew up, there are plenty of them in the
right.
Edgar County. So just kind of oil and a rock road, and there's a cornfield, and there's this tree right there, and the tree basically looks like somebody went and snapped it, right? So there's like about 4 feet of it above ground from the stump, and then the other basically 30 feet of it fell over and
That's
landed.
A big tree.
Yeah, and it's oak. It was really big and solid. I mean, it's got a huge trunk, and the primary thing it fell on was the truck itself. So on the cab of the truck. If he had been in the cab, he probably would have been killed regardless, because it pretty much just flattened that kind of thing. But he was outside of the truck, and
That's what doesn't add up.
he was actually in the front. So he was in the front of the truck, and it still had this really sort of extended branch that came down and hit him on the head, and that's what they believe killed him. They included a number of weather reports and anything. So that day was a clear blue sky, right? So no storms or anything like that. No lightning.
No wind.
No wind. That they can't rule out that there wasn't some sort of freak gust of wind, but there was nothing reported and on any of the weather station monitors or anything like that. When you look at the photos of the tree itself, it looks healthy, right? It doesn't look rotten. The wood is of the trunk itself looks looks good. Looks like it could have stood for another 100 years. You're not an arborist, so you don't know exactly, but it doesn't look rotten. And the break is it really looks like somebody like took a pencil and just kind of snapped it in two.
Snapped it.
Yeah. So.
Um. What do we know about the tree itself? I mean, we have it was planted by Jeremiah Hicks to memorialize his son who was killed in Vietnam. Is Mr. Hicks still with us?
Um, Mr. Hicks is still with it. He still actually owns the farm on that property. He's no longer actively farming it himself, but he does have. He had more than he had a daughter who kind of picked up the business and continues to farm it. But he is still alive. Yes.
Is Mr. Holt local?
Yes.
Did he have any tree viewing hobbies?
No.
I'd like to know why he got out of the car.
No, he didn't have any tree viewing hobbies whatsoever. He
What did he do for a living?
yeah, what he did for a living was he did surveying work. So, and he was actually out doing some surveying that day. So he was looked like it was at the end of his day, and he was returning back from a surveying job that he was doing out there for the county itself. So.
I meant to go back and ask you, what was Anika's profession?
Anika is. Okay, yeah, she was a teacher at the high school.
Math?
No, nothing so boring as math.
Whoa. Okay.
Social studies.
Math. Social studies.
Yeah.
At least you didn't say PE teacher.
No.
Recess teacher. Okay. Nothing that boring. We'll talk off air. Okay.
All right. So Roland's pretty used to kind of seeing this, but Rose is a little bit less used to seeing photos of corpses and reading about, some of these reports and whatnot. So I'd like for you to make a sanity test roll for me for her.
You want to explain to our viewers how sanity works in Delta Green?
Yeah. So as we mentioned, this is a cosmic horror game. So basically, there are usually about two outcomes for agents: death or insanity. What happens are there's a number of every character has a sanity sort of number, and certain events require them to make a sanity test roll. And if they pass it, they may not lose any sanity, or they may lose less of it, depending on how sort of unnatural, horrific it is that they're seeing. Or they fail it and they lose a lot more sanity. Now, if they lose five or more points of sanity in one roll, they go temporarily insane. They can recover that. They can, if they just lose sanity points, there's a point in time where they kind of hit what's called a breaking point. If that's the case, they can develop a disorder. Rose has already got paranoia as a disorder, so she's hit that at least one point in time in the past. And they can also sort of fight against the sanity in a couple of ways. Bonds. Doug mentioned some of the bonds his characters have earlier. They can basically they use them up over time to kind of help keep sanity at bay and leverage that to kind of help keep them sane. But it is ultimately a downward spiral. It can only last so long before encounters with the unnatural or physical violence that they conduct or are conducted against them, or helplessness ultimately eats away at them. So what Doug's going to do is going to make a sanity check here for Rose, and we're going to see if she passes or not, and that will determine the amount of sanity she could lose.
I'd love to roll, but I'm stuck on the YouTube tab. It won't let me tab over.
Oh, well, just why don't you just
close it?
Okay. Well, why don't you just
roll?
Give me a couple of dice and roll, man. So physically roll, and her current sanity is 32. So
32.
Yep.
You're gonna trust me?
I will trust you. You are my brother.
I'm rolling D10s, right?
Yep, 2d10s.
I will have to roll them separately. That's a 12. Here's a 10. All right. First number 4. Second number 7.
Okay. So she failed her sanity test, which is all right. Okay. So now what that means is I am going to roll to find out the amount of sanity loss. Doug does not know how much I'm rolling or anything. So all he knows is that he failed the sanity test. He doesn't actually know how much sanity Clara's losing. So it kind of helps with the mystery of it.
I could have lost it all.
Yep. So, well, not that much, but okay. So I'm keeping track of their sanity separately. So
there we go. Okay, so I don't need you don't need to give me the number then, huh?
Nope.
So I can update it on my sheet.
Nope, I'm keeping track of it.
Wrong.
So from now on, I'll be telling you to make a sanity test, and you won't know what your target number even is, other than you know it's going to be less than 32 because that's what our current sanity is. So. All right. Okay.
Man, my computer's running like crap.
But basically, and maybe you want to kind of explain a little bit about what kind of how she's reacting by kind of because this is in response to all this criminology evidence, photos, kind of stuff that she's seeing. That's basically kind of eating away at her.
I don't understand what you mean.
Do you want to just kind of describe what she's experiencing? That kind of explains the mental anguish she's kind of going through.
Well, she is a paranoid person, and you have these 3 incredibly strange accidents, and she just kind of has this feeling that they're all tied together in some way, and they're all kind of graphic in their own ways. And so I think she's paranoid that this is going to continue on, and she's not exactly sure if it can be solved. So I think that's where her paranoia is getting the best of her right now.
Okay. All right. That works. Okay.
Darn right it works. Made that up on the fly.
Bravo. All right. So, how do you want to proceed now?
First I'm gonna restart my computer. So I don't need it right now, do I?
No.
I'm not restarting Discord or anything. I'm starting the other computer.
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What was your question?
Yeah. What are you doing now? In
Heading back,
game, not in life.
flying back to Washington D.C.
No.
Well, I guess. How long are we wanting to go tonight?
I figure we go till about 10.
Okay, so I'll go to the first incident at the and speak to Joyce and Melinda, the shooter.
Hmm.
I'd like to go to their house first and ask some questions.
Okay. All right. So, do you want to take the boxes and stuff back to the sheriff and tell her what you're doing? How do you want to deal with the evidence that you've, these boxes?
I'd like to leave all that. I'd like to leave all that stuff in the conference room. I'll
Okay.
ask her.
Okay.
The sheriff is okay if we leave these boxes in here. We want to go follow up, do some of our own interviewing with the three families. Is it okay if we leave this here where we kind of stashed everything?
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. So you're going to talk to all? Well, I mean, Anika didn't have any family.
I'll talk to the woman across the street.
Okay. All right. Are you planning on
investigate? I'd actually like to investigate. I actually like to look in Anika's house.
Yeah, I can help you with that. You're going to need to probably coordinate with Joyce. She might very well, she might be home, but she probably wants her lawyer there. She's been pretty adamant about that with us. You might be best served by contacting her and letting her know. I can certainly help you with that if you want, but she'll probably want her lawyer there.
Wait, who was her lawyer?
Her lawyer is Karma Hendricks. She's from Indianapolis, so she'd have to drive up and that kind of stuff, unless she's there now, which is probably not the case. But.
She's the same lawyer for the other. Oh
no,
wait, wrong house. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Joyce and Melinda. So the first mysterious death, they have a lawyer named Karma. So.
Right. But I thought we were talking about the house with electricity also.
Yes. So she can. No, the sheriff's just letting you know that if you want to talk to them, you might want to schedule that so that if you want to talk to Joyce, they'll want their lawyer present, and that's probably going to be like tomorrow at the earliest before they would get the lawyer up here.
Okay. Can we start that process?
Tell you what. So the sheriff says to you, tell you what. I'll have Logan take you over to Anika's. Let you in, take a look at it. Obviously, it's a possible crime scene. So don't mess it. Be appropriately careful there. I will call Joyce, let her know that the state police, have some follow-up questions and want to talk with you. And see if we can arrange a time for tomorrow, unless she's willing to talk without a lawyer.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works fine.
Okay. All right. She said, "Hey, Logan, take them over to Anika's and let them in." And Logan's like, "All right."
I'll just take. If you want, I could just take the keys and go ourselves and bring them back to you.
Logan kind of hesitates and like, no, I don't think that'd be proper. So, I mean, I think one of us should be there with you. This is, our jurisdiction. So, I mean, I appreciate your help and stuff like that. But
Well, you look busy. I was just gonna save you some time.
I don't know why we're going over there, but I will go with you. So follow me. So he puts on a Sheriff County Police baseball cap. Hikes up his heavy belt with his pistol and that kind of stuff, and walks out the front door and to his patrol car that's parked out front. You guys need coffee or anything before we get there, or you just want to go straight there?
Just let's go. Let's go.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. So, he drives you over there. It's 5 minutes away. It's not very far at all. And pulls up. There's a kind of older car in front. It's kind of a Taurus, Ford Taurus car. Number of years old. Got some rust along the wheel wells. The grass is a little bit high, so if somebody hasn't cut it a little bit, could use some cutting. He walks up to Logan, gets out. He doesn't pull in the driveway. He just kind of parks on the street outside the house, and goes up to the door. Kind of clips through the police tape that's do not enter tape there. Opens the door and says, I'll be outside here if you guys need me. Kind of pulls out a pack of cigarettes and lights one up.
Is that Nika's Taurus out there?
Yeah, that's her car.
Okay. We will go in.
All right. So,
We have gloves.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, and you have those in the back of your car, and there's like a little bit of a basic forensics kit kind of back there in case you need it, fingerprints and that kind of stuff. So the house is right now it's dark. There's no lights on. The shades are all closed, so it's actually fairly dark in there, even though there's still quite a bit of sunlight kind of coming through. You can tell it's been unoccupied for a number of weeks. There's a layer of dust on some tables and that kind of stuff, but it's a modest house. You walk in, there's a family room to the right. Straight ahead is a kitchen with a kind of a dining room open next to it, and then to the left there's a little hallway. Looks like a couple of bedrooms down that way, and a bathroom, pantry, closet, kind of thing.
Can I use my search skill to see if anything was overlooked?
You certainly can use your search skill. So, okay, and let's meet. Oh, that's right. You can't see it right now.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can now?
I'm
Okay.
back.
All right. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would use forensics. Oh, you got search. That's fine. No, search, you got it. Ooh, nice roll.
My target everyone was 50%. I rolled a 7.
Yep, not a critical, but successful. Um, all right, so you want to focus your search around kind of the uh, where the recliner was and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so the living room, it's got a recliner. It's got a small couch. In front of that couch is a coffee table, and the recliner's on the left side of it, and they're facing a TV and kind of an entertainment center. There is a standing light that sits between the couch and the recliner, and there's an end table also between those. And the end table has some magazines on it. Has Stephen King's book that you saw in the photo. Looks like it's not been moved at all. There's the power outlet is behind the couch that the light is plugged into. You can actually see fingerprint dust powder on there. And that's really the closest sort of power outlet that's there. You do see somebody even dusted the ceiling around where that scorch mark was and stuff. So, and front door, all of that kind of you kind of see high traffic areas where they've dusted for fingerprints.
I'm going to open the.
Sorry, yeah. So, on as you're kind of looking at it and you're looking at the entertainment center, all right, you see a photo there, and the photo it's a picture of Nika. You recognize her immediately. You also recognize Henry Thompson, Devin Holt, and then there are 4 other people in the photo that you do not recognize. But they all kind of are standing in kind of a formal kind of, like a high school picture pose, or, like a class
a wedding photo or
something. A wedding photo, class pose. Yeah, they're kind of all like, tallest to the shortest, kind of going from the center to the outside. But it is those 7 people. There are 7 people in the photo.
Plus whoever took the photo.
Yeah, or
we don't know that.
It's
remote.
Remote, yeah. It's so 7 at least in the photo.
Does it have any like labels or anything like class of 1982 reunion, or what does it say on the picture?
Yeah, so it doesn't say on the front. You pop open it and look in the back, and it has just a date on the back of it, which says April 23rd, 2019.
2000 what?
19.
19?
Mm-hmm. And you're right now. It's yeah.
I'd like to take the photo. I'd like to put it back in the frame and take the photo.
Okay.
I like to thumb through the book too to see if there's anything in there.
Okay. She was on page 210. There's a bookmark there, and she liked to bend. She liked it as a soft cover, so she folded it under. Spine's broken. It's all kind of curled and that kind of stuff.
Party foul.
Yeah. Other than that, you kind of flip through it. There doesn't seem to be anything else in it other than the bookmark and that kind of stuff. So.
Does she have like a private desk or filing cabinets or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's the master bedroom, and then one of the other bedroom has essentially it's basically like a little library. It's got like bookshelves up there. There's a small desk, and there's like a filing cabinet there. Yes.
I'd like to search these things to see if I can find any connection for the people in the photo.
Okay.
Alexa,
Yeah.
off.
Oh.
Sorry, Alexa, Siri.
Yeah. No. So you open the file drawer. There's two drawers. So the first drawer basically has like tax returns for like 15 years. Like she kept every single tax return for like the past 15 years. It's just 2008, 2019, 2018. It just kind of goes back, and they're full of receipts and that kind of stuff. So it's like if anyone ever wanted to audit her, she was prepared. And then the other one has basically a bunch of lesson plans. So for social studies work. So the teaching. So she mostly taught kind of contemporary politics and kind of structure of the U.S. government, how the Senate and the House of Representatives work, the executive, Supreme Court, and lots of articles related to that sort of kind of educational sense. So Rose in particular is kind of like, yeah, these are kind of the things that you would use to teach high schoolers about, kind of civics and what governance is and that kind of stuff. There doesn't seem to be anything in those drawers related to, the photo or the people in the photo.
Okay. And I don't recognize anybody else from that photo, right?
You do not.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know what else I should be looking for, so I will take the photo. I assume I can put it in an evidence bag and tag it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Okay. So
Cool.
I'll leave the house. I want to go across the street to the other lady that was worried about her.
Yeah.
That called for the wellness check.
Yes. So.
Janice. Is that
Yep.
her name?
Janice. Yep. You when you leave the walk out, Logan's kind of standing there, and he kind of flicks off a cigarette, and you can look away, and you see Janice is out there, kind of already watching you. And Logan leans to you and
Give her a little wave.
says, "Yeah, the old bird's out there. She popped her head out the moment you walked in." So
I'm gonna show him the photo and be like,
She waves back.
She waves back. I'm gonna show Logan the photo and point to the three people and be like, "Do you know any of these? We know these three. Do you know any of these other four by any chance?"
Oh yeah. That's Bertram. Bertram Conrad. He owns a bookstore and antique store here. That's Philip Shelton. That's June Levine, and that's Parker Chin. Yeah, I know this one. All townsfolk.
Do you have any idea why they're all together?
Oh, I believe they're friends. So, like I said, Bertram, he owns a bookstore here. Anika was a big reader, and I know Philip liked to pick up antiques and kind of repurpose them. He did some of that. Like he'd refinish them and restain stuff, make them look all nice and that kind of stuff. So I think they're kind of friends. Yeah.
What about the other two? You said their names kind of fast.
Oh,
Parker?
June and Parker. Yeah, June Levine and
What does
Parker
June
Chin.
do?
So yeah. Well, let's see. I can't remember. So June, she is a doctor, so she runs a family practice around here. Um, so a lot of people go and see her. She's my wife's doctor. And Parker, I think he worked for something in some place in Kokomo. I never understood what he did. Some sciencey stuff. I'm not sure. So I thought you have to ask him what he does. He probably bore you to tears.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna walk across the street and talk to Janice.
Okay. She walk up to her. She's kind of standing there, and she says, "Well, they say it was lightning. You believe that was lightning?" I tell you,
Janice, right? That's
yeah,
your.
that's mine. I'm Janice. Yes.
Yeah.
Extends
Yeah.
her hands.
I take mine. Detective Barton, this is my colleague here, Detective Belmore. Um, just doing some follow-up investigation work with the state police.
About time they
Nothing.
got somebody here who can investigate this, and that sheriff who doesn't know what the heck she's doing.
Well, she's elected. I guess you can vote somebody else next time. But
Who ever heard of lightning doing that?
well, yeah, sure. It sure looks like lightning, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't look like lightning to you?
Yeah. There,
What's it look like?
there was no storm in that night. There was no thunder. There was no lightning at all.
Well,
Can't tell me it was
electric
lightning.
company says, well, maybe the electrical company says it was a surge of power,
Oh,
lightning, electricity, whatever you might. But think, what do you think? What do you think happened, Janice?
how am I supposed to know? That's what you're supposed to find out. But but it doesn't make any sense that it's lightning.
Sure, I understand. It seems very, very peculiar. I'm sure.
Peculiar is a word for it.
Do you know the rest of the people in this photograph by chance, other than poor Anika?
She pulls out her glasses, kind of looks at him. Oh yeah, yeah. All of them, they're all buddy. I think they, yeah.
Oh, they hang out.
Oh yeah. At Bertram's antique store. Yeah. I don't know why they want that old stuff. I tell my kids when I'm gone, they should just burn it all.
Well, you know what? Some of this has sentimental value, I'm sure.
Whatever.
Let alone monetary value. But some people don't value material things, do they, Janice?
Yeah. You can only take to heaven what you're sold. You can't take anything you got here.
And I understand that completely. Anything else strange about that night that maybe you forgot to tell the deputies when they first started asking questions?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, it was just a regular night, except for that surge. Like I said, there was no storm or anything like that. So,
were her curtains closed? Obviously, you saw some lights flickering. I'm just curious if you could see through the windows at all.
Yeah, she kept that it closed all the time. It's like she hated light or something like that. So she kept them closed, and but they're thin, so enough that I could see the light kind of flickering in and out,
Sure.
just like what was happening with mine. So, but yeah, she always kept those the drapes or curtains closed. She's a private person, Anika. She was a private person.
Yeah. You seem to know a lot of the people around here. You seem to be not so introverted. You're much more extroverted, huh?
Small town. I like to keep up what's going on.
Uh, what about some of these other things that have happened in this town? There's a lot of tragedy in this little town.
Oh, you mean that uh, Henry and Devin?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what story that little girl's spinning, but I mean, she shot him. Come on. I mean, that's pretty clear what happened. And Devin, bad luck, I guess. Maybe when it's your time, it's your time. That's what the
Is your
Lord
time
says.
coming up, Janice?
I never. So she says, you could just
Have a great
go
day,
on.
ma'am. I turn around and walk away.
Okay. You hear her go like, and stamp away.
Okay. Well, I can't go over to see what's the name? It's Joyce and Melinda yet. I'd like to go out to that farm.
Okay. How about next session for that one?
That works.
Okay.
Is Logan going out there with us?
He'll lead you out there. Yes.
Okay. How old is Logan, by the way?
Logan is well, he appears to be in his 30s.
Roughly.
Yeah, appears to be in his early 30s.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
All right. Well, so thanks everyone for joining Two Brothers Gaming. I'm Patrick. That's my brother Doug.
I'm Doug.
So apologies for the Twitch stream. We'll figure out what's going on there. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Appreciate that. So, and
yeah, if you check this out and you want to join our group on Facebook, you can find us at Two Brothers Gaming, hashtag Blade and Bow, also. And I would love for you to join the group and let us know what you thought about our first session. Obviously, we are in development, so any hints or advice or things you liked or just didn't like about the episode, feel free to share that. We want to make this the best viewing experience we can for everyone. So
Yep.
Spread the word.
I appreciate everyone joining up, and I have some big cyberpunk plans in the future, so I'm looking forward to that. So, and we'll continue with Delta Green and some others. So, thank you for joining, thank you for following, and have a great night.
May all your roles be